following podcast contains language that may be inappropriate for younger listeners and covers topics that could be controversial or offensive to some. If you're the former, I'm sorry. If you're the latter, I'm sorry for you. Rated M for mature.
Hello, friend. Welcome. Or welcome back. Either way, know you're appreciated. So, when I was a young teen, I want to say 13, 14, I'm not exactly sure. Nor am I exactly sure the context in which this memory actually occurred. Let's just say that I was in trouble for something. Insert teenage boy shenanigans here, or in my case, something really over the top because arguably I was not the greatest kid. I don't remember what exactly occurred, but I distinctly remember sitting in my father's recliner in the den and being spoken to, air quotes, spoken to, which I would describe as lectured. But, getting that finger wag, good talking to about what I had done and how wrong I was. And I was going to sit there until it sank in my head. What I specifically recall about this particular thing is a statement that my father made to me during it. And it was, quote, "Son, you're not dumb. You're just stupid," end quote. At that point in time, it really didn't resonate because not a whole lot did with me. Again, not the greatest of kids. But as I've grown up and got older, and some may say with years comes wisdom, not real sure I got wiser, but definitely grew up. I think I have a better understanding of what he meant. So over time, I would tell you that I don't believe that statement is specific to me. I think it is very generalized toward men. I, full disclosure, am a man. I know lots of men. And I would tell you that generally the statement of "you're not dumb, you're just stupid" would probably apply. And why would I say that? Well, let's look at the components of it. I think most people would say dumb and stupid mean the same thing. And yes, arguably stupid is a synonym for the word dumb. But if we look at just the definitions, Merriam-Webster defines dumb in the number one definition as lacking intelligence. So you're not intelligent, therefore you're dumb. Stupid is defined as given to unintelligent decisions or acts, acting in an unintelligent or careless manner. So those are two dramatically different things. Dumb, you lack intelligence. Stupid, you have a tendency to make unintelligent decisions or act in an unintelligent way. So you aren't unintelligent. You just don't use your intelligence. I think that's pretty accurate when we talk about men. Why would I talk about this? Well, this one is going to be more for the ladies in the audience, specifically ladies that are in relationships with men or aspire to have a relationship with a man. Because I think you guys greatly overestimate us. I don't think you give enough weight to the "we're just stupid" part of being a man, right? I think you may think we're dumb a lot of the time, but you're not giving enough weight to the stupid part. And I think it's important that you know who you're dealing with so that you know how to deal with them. It may make everybody's life a lot easier if you have a better understanding of who your adversary is in this war of the relationship. So full disclosure, this episode is designed to be entertaining. Exaggerating the points to illustrate in a humorous manner is the intent. You will find that I will be hyperbolic in a lot of these examples. Some clearly made up, others definitively pulled from my own personal experience that I'm willing to share. The the point doesn't change though that ultimately men are a simple creature, and for as smart as we can be, ultimately we are more stupid than we are not stupid. And understanding that from both sides of the equation, I think is very important, um, for us to be able to have healthy relationships. Again, this is going to be specifically from the guy's standpoint, uh, just because at no point would I sit here and believe that I am anywhere near qualified to talk about anything from the opposite perspective that would not be deemed as skewed or biased to the male perspective. So we are focusing on it strictly from my viewpoint as a man regarding men. Fellas, if you're going to get upset or try to defend yourself against this, then you're missing the point of what this episode is. So, what's a really good example of men are stupid? And so my wife and I were talking the other day, and somehow the topic of selling things came up. Um, and we're just having a general conversation and laughing and having a good time, and we're talking about selling used underwear. Who is the market for used underwear? I'm gonna go with 99% men are the people buying that. Ladies, I'm fairly certain that y'all aren't out there looking to buy a pair of used drawers from somebody. Um, there's no use for some used underwear. There's no logical, intelligent decision making process that says buying used underwear makes sense. I would put that squarely in the men are stupid category, that we are going to spend money on some draws that y'all wore. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me, but clearly there is a market for it. And that market is that demographic is men. Men do it. Men are stupid. We are very simple creatures. Um, Again, I think, ladies, you give us way too much credit, for as much as I would say most of us are not dumb. We do not lack intelligence. We are very simple, and we are not as smart as we think we are sometimes, and we're surely not as smart as you would like us to be, when it pertains to things like EQ, which would be emotional intelligence, um, for people who don't know, uh, nor AQ, which adaptability intelligence. You know, we're motivated by pretty basic principles. Um, Feed us, give me a box that does flashy lights and spits out noise, that I can sit in front of. It'll keep me occupied. Um, and meet some physical desires. Yeah, we're pretty good at that point. That's about what drives us. Um, Not real good on picking up on nonverbal cues all the time. You may point it out to us after the fact, and we'd be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I saw that." But in the moment, nah, not really our strong suit. And I think you expect us to. You want us to know what you're thinking or what you want. Um, s- you know, Here's the thing: half the time we don't know what we're thinking or what we want. Um, Nor do we put a whole lot of time and energy into figuring it out. Uh, yeah, um, Pretty simple. I'm hungry. Put food in my mouth. Don't really care what that food is. Uh, I bored. Turn on TV. don't really care what it is, because we will sit and watch the dumbest of things. Preferably, it's some kind of competitive something. If it has a score, we're going to like it. And, you know, let there be some kind of physical pleasure in our future, and we are happy, happy boys. And I understand I'm boiling us down to a very primal sense of, oh, food, breathe, reproduce. That's what it takes. But ultimately, that's what it is. Yeah, are some of us deeper than that? Most definitely. Do we have the capacity to be more in touch and more understanding? Yes. Again, remember, this is overly exaggerated, trying to drive the point home. But we really aren't complicated creatures. And I think, ladies, that because you don't necessarily want to believe that we are as simple as that, you put yourselves through undue stress, and, you know, or you do things that is under the premise of for us, but I would argue that is more for you. But that's a topic that takes us slightly off track. But let's talk lingerie for a minute, and how it relates to men being simple. You know, ladies, you guys will go get very pretty matching bras and panties, and, you know, want to be sexy for us. And the reality is that we don't need that. Break out the period draws, girls. Be comfortable. That's just as sexy to us as you in Victoria's Secret. Um, really doesn't do anything for us. I think that is much more for you to feel pretty than it is for us to find you pretty. Not saying we don't, but we would find you just as pretty in the comfy draws as we do the ones that are all lacy and matchy matchy. You know, you guys in sweats is just as sexy to us as you in a lace nightie. Um, we find you sexy, not necessarily what you're wearing. Not saying that we don't find certain outfits sexy, but again, the work that you put into that I think you believe we need, we don't. Um, Again, we're not that complicated. You smiled at us. We're happy. We'll be right back after this quick break.
I just don't get it. I work hard, I go to school, I pay my bills on time. So why can't I get approved for a new car? It's like no matter what I do, I'm always struggling to make ends meet. My wife and I, we thought we were doing everything right. We saved up for a down payment. We have good credit scores. But the home buying process is just so confusing. We're lost in a sea of paperwork, drowning in a whirlpool of jargon and numbers that make no sense to us. How are we supposed to navigate this treacherous terrain without a guide? Financial literacy is a huge issue, one that affects so many of us. We need help, guidance, someone to show us the way out of this maze of financial insecurity. That's why Financial Foundations of Virginia is here to offer us a lifeline in our time of need, to teach us the skills and knowledge we need to build a solid financial future, to break free from the chains of debt and uncertainty. It's time to take control of our finances to build a foundation that will support us for years to come. Visit us at financialfoundationsofvirginia.org or like and follow on Facebook and Instagram.
And now back to our show. So let's back up and talk about stupid a little more. And I'll share a experience from my own relationship that put myself out there to illustrate men are stupid. There was a argument at one point in time, and again, don't remember what the argument was about. It's not important what the argument is about, but the following statement came out of my mouth during the argument. Quote, "And that's why I'm smarter than you." End quote. Now, as I was formulating that thought and preparing to say it, my non-dumb brain went, hey, this isn't going to go the way that you think it's going to go. Probably not in your best interest to make that statement. And then my man brain kicked in and went, it must be said. It must be said now because in my assessment, it's relevant to the current discussion that we're having and it illustrates my point. So I said it. And as soon as it left my lips, the realization really happened of, oh, I actually just said that. And my wife's response was, quote, the fact you said that is proof you're not, end quote. And she wasn't wrong. Did not have the desired effect. By no standards was that a intelligent statement to make, but did it. And if we go back to the definition of stupid, to act unintelligently or make unintelligent decisions, yeah, I think that's a pretty spot on example of doing it. Was not meant with malice. Was not trying to be hurtful in the statement. In my man head, it made sense to me. Clearly not accurate by any stretch of the imagination, as she quickly pointed out. And and I think if you look at it, objectively as a third party, even if that were true, you don't make that statement, right? That the intelligent person does not call that out, even if it is in fact a truthful statement. And in this case, it wasn't. I think it was me trying to make a point in a very stupid way. And those are the things that we do. We speak, and it's in our head and it's going to come out of our mouth, and we may recognize the fact that it's not smart to do such, and we're going to do dumb things or stupid things like that. Again, I don't think I'm a dumb guy. I think I do stupid things. I make stupid statements. Even if you know what the outcome is going to be, you still choose to commit to it. Is very much a man thing, right? We will double down on the stupidity, stand our ground. I'm right, even if I know I'm wrong. I'm gonna stand here and I'm gonna fight and prove I'm right. We have a hard time coming to terms with not coming out on top. Again, it's that very competitive thing that turn on sports for us. We like anything that has points. There's a winner or a loser, and we want to be a winner. We are competitive at our core, and everything can be a competition, and that leads to bad decisions sometimes. You see it in sports. People cheat. They cheat because they want to win. Cheating is not smart, but they do it because they want to win. Stupid decisions because you're driven by an outcome. The outcome more important than how you're playing the game. It's not right. I'm not trying to justify behaviors. I'm trying to explain how we end up where we end up, and why we do the things we do, just from a foundational kind of core who men are perspective. We get together and we act like 5-year-olds, grown men. Again, I'm 50. I laugh at dumb things every day with a group of guys at work that is clearly 5-year-old humor. We just don't outgrow being boys. And you guys do. You are much more emotionally intelligent than we are. And I don't know, you get there much faster than we do. Right. I think there have been any number of scientific studies that show girls develop emotionally much faster than guys do. And I don't think we ever catch up. I truly do believe that I make the joke all the time that I am a 5-year-old. I'm stuck at 5 years old. The reality of the situation is I could be 90 on my deathbed in the hospital, and if somebody farts, I'm laughing. Guaranteed. It will still be funny to me. If it is the last breath I have, it's going to be a laugh. I promise you. Because, again, stupid things, I find it funny. Men find dumb stuff funny. That's why you see movies like The Hangover or Bridesmaids with this very raunchy, over the top, exaggerated, disgusting humor. It's really geared toward men. We find that crap funny because we are still children. We never outgrow that. And you believe that we're grown-ups, ladies. And you expect us to act like such versus, and I know you don't want to treat us like children, but you need to understand the mentality that we have. Again, this is not all men, and this is a gross generalization. But I think it illustrates points that men generally, if you accepted the fact that a fart joke is going to make us laugh, or, you know, at 40, I'm still going to give my buddy a wedgie, or I'm going to nut check him walking down a hallway if it's just the two of us because, haha, that's funny, makes me laugh. It's that simple nature. When I talk about we're simple creatures, that's what I'm talking about. The fact that you think I am supposed to know, or we are supposed to know why you're upset with us. When we ask you, what's wrong? And you say, nothing, I'm fine. And we're supposed to be able to read your mind. No. Can't. Remember, I'm amused by the shiny box grabs my attention. I don't understand how to process that. You have to talk to us and lay things out very clearly. We just don't process things that way. Not good at it. You're good at it. You help us. You make us better, guaranteed. We drag you down. Clearly, if relationships were a asset that could be bought or sold, you are what brings up the property value, where we're what drags it down. Now, that's not to say that you guys are perfect by any means, but I do think that the statement, the better half, definitely applies to you guys more than it applies to us. And I do feel that generally we strive to be better and to carry our share of the weight in the relationship. We recognize that the burden can't be all yours. I do think that unjustly you guys are the glue that keeps a relationship together, probably more so than we are. But ultimately, I do think that every guy that's in a relationship is trying to be better than what we are at our core. So what did we learn today? We learned that I am probably not destined to be a relationship therapist. I don't think there was anything that was, oh my God, groundbreaking. We poked some fun at generalized topics of what it is to be a guy. Hopefully it was an enjoyable ride. You got some chuckles and some laughs out of it. And if some people gleaned some information either about themselves or about their relationship, or maybe a better understanding of how to communicate with one another, just because you got a better understanding of who you were dealing with at their core, then great. If not, as long as we had a good time, that's really all I care about. So I really do appreciate the fact that you came by, that you guys are giving this thing a chance. Hopefully we're getting better each and every time. These things flow a little better. You have more fun. They're more engaging. I know I have a good time doing it and figuring out what we're going to talk about, what I'm going to bring to you episode after episode. So until next time, remember, affect change. Don't let change affect you. I'm out.